I am so happy that all of you could join me here. Today we're going to talk about how to get started in real estate. This says as a new agent, but it doesn't matter if you're already in real estate. I mean, most of you hopefully are licensed already, and some of you have been working real estate for a while, but maybe you're stuck. And that's what prompted me to want to do this webinar, is because I've been reading a lot of the Facebook group Mastermind groups that I'm in, that people are stuck because things have slowed down, things have changed, the market is changing, and people don't really know what to do. So I try to give my 2 cents in those mastermind groups and help people as much as possible. But then I realized, you know what? It's webinar time. We actually need to get a little more in depth about what we're going to do in real estate to be successful. That's the idea, right? We want to all be successful, and we want to know what to do and how to get started. And that's what this webinar is all about. So I'm going to hit my slideshow right now, and we're just going to roll right into it. Okay. First things first, real estate is not a job. Everyone's like, oh, I'm gonna, I lost my job, or I retired and now I'm going to get real estate as a job. No, real estate's not a job. Becoming a real estate agent or broker is a business. It's an investment, and you have to invest time and you have to invest money. You don't get paid unless you have a closing, for the most part, unless you have a real estate related W-2 job, but most people don't. So what you need to do is treat this as a business. It's very important that you have to make investment in yourself and in this job. So the first thing you want to do when you start any new business, because this is a business, is make a business plan. Now, the business plan needs to have goals, where you're going to focus, what your objectives are for your plan. So in order to start this plan, the first thing you should ask yourself is, what type of real estate do you want to do? Everyone gets into this, and the first thing they think of, the only thing they think of for the most part, is I just want to sell houses. Houses that are resold, resale houses, used houses. And that's what most people think of, and most people don't realize all the other choices that there are. You can get into new construction sales of condos and high-rise buildings. You can get into land sales. There's land brokers who specialize in just land. There are commercial brokers who specialize in just commercial. There's business brokers who specialize in just selling businesses. Property management that specialize in short-term rentals, long-term rentals, vacation rentals, or just representing investors. There's people who just do rentals, that they don't manage the whole property, but they just get people into the rental. There's people who are investors who get into this business just to buy for themselves and their family, or they represent a company that they buy for. And then there's people who represent people who want to downsize and go into assisted living facilities and adult living facilities. And then there's people who get into mobile home sales. There's also auctioneers. Actually, that isn't on this list, but we are going to talk about auctioneers as well. And auctioneers can be selling any one of those things. So after you've picked one of those things, and look at all of them, and if you're not sure what to pick, I'm here. If you're not sure what each one would be about, you need to send me an email or ask me in the comments of our YouTube channel, because we're going to put this as a replay down on YouTube. Like, Dawn, I'm considering becoming a business broker. What would that be like? How would I get started as a business broker? You can send me questions and comments on our YouTube channel through Go Home TV in the comments, and I'll answer them. Or you can do that through our Facebook page as well. So make sure that you go to our Facebook page and you like My State MLS Facebook page, or on YouTube, if you go to YouTube right now and go to Go Home TV, that's our YouTube channel. You can comment when we put this video up there. So make sure you subscribe to it so you receive the answer, because you'll get a notification that I've answered your question, and I'll do it personally. You want to pick a broker that specializes in what you want to focus on. That's really important, because there are brokers who are just residential resale brokers. They don't have anything to do with new construction. They don't have anything to do with land or farms or estates or commercial. And let's just say you don't want to fit in that box. You need to go to a commercial broker if you want to be a commercial broker. That's where you need to learn. That's where you need to get started. Big, big, big money in commercial leases. There's huge money in that. There's huge money in all of these different verticals. So you need to look at each one and which one interests you, which one you think you'll be best at. Commission split, something everybody thinks about at first. They're just like, oh my God, how much is that broker paying me? Are they giving me 100%? I think 80%, 70%, 50% to start. How much support are they going to give you? You should not, when you're first getting started, don't worry about the commission split. Don't worry about the support you get from that broker. Worry about the training you get from that broker. Worry about that you're in the right place, that it has the right atmosphere for you, that you're in the right culture, so to say. Because real estate's a really fun job, and you'll meet, it's a fun career, it's a fun business investment. It's not a fun job, but it's a fun thing to do. I think it's a fun thing to do. I've always had a ton of fun doing all the different real estate related jobs that I do. So you're gonna meet a lot of other people in your brokerage's office, and you're gonna learn from them as well. So you should like the culture of the firm that you pick. Make sure that you interview and spend time at more than one brokerage, and ask what they're going to do for you too. Do they have marketing that they're going to do for you? Do they have a marketing budget? If so, how much is it? Where do they advertise? Where do they use that marketing budget? What's their training like? Do you have to pay for their training? In some of these firms, you actually have to pay for your training, but some give you free training. So you want to find out what all those expenses are up front. Sometimes when you pay for the training, it can be better. So if you're willing to make that investment, it can be worth it to pay for that training, pay for a training coach. But those are all things that you're going to have to decide based on how much you're getting started with and how much you're willing to invest in your new business. Then you're going to want to set goals. Okay. I hate to break it to you, but it's really hard to be successful without a goal, because there's just no way to measure it. You're going to need, so what is that goal? Is that goal, I want to sell one house a month, every month in my first year? Is that goal, I'm going to be happy to just, for the first 3 months, learn the market, understand everything there is to know, learn how to do appraisals, learn how to prospect, so that after my 3-month ramp up period, I expect to sell 2 to 5 houses a month? How big are your goals? So you need to set those goals, and those goals should be set daily. What am I going to do today? When you wake up in the morning, what am I going to do today? Write down everything you're supposed to do today and make sure you do each one of those things. What am I going to do this week? What do I expect to have finished by the time the week ends? What do I expect to have completed for this entire month? And what are my overall yearly goals? Write all those out as part of your business plan when you get started. That's very, very important. Now, I know you're thinking, come on, we don't know what our goals are, because we don't know what our tasks are, because we're not sure, and that's why we're here to watch your webinar and for you to tell us. So that's what we're going to get into. We are going to do a step-by-step here. I'm just letting you know that without goals set, you're not going to be able to achieve the kind of success you want, because you don't know what that success is. So you need to define what success is to you. Okay? Is it happiness? Is it just, I'm just going to be happy? Is I'm going to be happy working with one person at a time? Make sure you set those goals. Now, how will you get started? That's what we just talked about. How are you going to get started? You're going to ask yourself these questions, very important. Do you have enough money to live for 1 full year and still make an investment in your business, whatever you decide that that investment should be, 20,000, 30,000? Do you have enough to live for 1 full year? Or do you need to work and make money when you get started? Some people have just retired. They know they want to get into real estate. They've got some money saved up, or maybe they have a spouse that supports them or a partner that supports them in some way, and they just have the time. They can do it. If that's you, and make sure you still have money to invest in yourself and time, then you want to do number 1. But if it's not you, if you need to work to pay your bills, because that's the stage of your life that you're in, then that's a completely separate path. These are 2 separate paths, and we're going to talk about both of them and how you can be successful no matter which path you choose. Okay, so if you said 1 to yes, You have the money to invest in your real estate business. You need to make that investment plan. Here's some of the things you're going to need to buy and spend money on. And even if you chose to, you're still going to need these things. You're going to want to make a marketing budget. You're going to need a logo for your new business. So after you pick your broker, you're still going to want a logo because you're going to have to make your own business cards. You're going to have to potentially buy software like a CRM. You're going to have to buy leads. You can get training. You're going to pay for coaching. All of these things are going to cost money. Now, if you don't know how much they're going to cost, and you're not sure, what I want you to do, especially if you're watching the replay of this or in our questions tab, Dawn, ask me, I didn't know I was going to have to spend all this money or do all these things. How much is this going to cost me? How can I get these done affordably? We can make recommendations to you. For instance, I use Vistaprint and I get all these coupons for my business cards. There's online logo companies where you can just pay $50 and someone will make you a logo. You can buy inexpensive CRMs. There's actually maybe some freemium CRMs that you can buy. There's some stuff that's already built into your MLS, My State MLS. We have a CRM built right into My State MLS. You can get free coaching on YouTube, believe it or not. Tons of free coaching on YouTube. On the Go Home TV channel, for instance, if you go to youtube.com and you subscribe to Go Home TV, there are a ton of videos on there, just like this one, that are going to teach you how to get leads, how to get started, how to make money, how to do open listings, how to do marketing videos, how to become a luxury agent. I mean, there's so many videos on that channel that everyone who watches those videos, if they employ those techniques, they'll be successful in whatever their goals are, as long as their goals are real estate related. Now let's say you said yes to two. You don't have the money saved up, you need to work, you thought that real estate was going to be a job and that you would get paid right away, but now you're finding out that you don't get paid. What can you do real estate related that will help you start your real estate career and business, but also get paid to do? And there's tons of things that you can do. And I made a list here, and we're going to go over this list. You can be an admin in a real estate office and a transaction coordinator. And you can also do that at any real estate brokerage, but you can also do it as a rental agent or as a property manager, because any of those things is real estate related. You're going to meet people who are also in the business. You're going to employ techniques. You're going to learn things that you need to learn about how to write contracts and how to get people into a home. Now, one thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make sure that wherever it is that you get this job, potentially as, let's say, an admin at a real estate office, that the broker understands, who's with you, that you have a real estate license and that you want to get started in real estate. So you want to make sure that you make that known up front, that you're here to learn, but that you also need to work while you're doing it. Another job, and this is how I got started in the business, is I became an appraiser. I was an appraiser before I was a real estate broker. And I learned appraisal as an apprentice, and that's what you can do as well. You can call local appraisal companies and you can say to them, I really want to become an appraiser. I'd love to learn. I have my real estate license. I have access to the MLS, and I want to learn how to become an appraiser. You're going to get a lot of no's because a lot of appraisers don't have time to train apprentices, but there are some who are looking and would really like the fact that you are eager to work. And that's what happened with me. I found a great appraiser and I was really computer savvy and he wasn't. And I brought that to the table and I helped him fix his computer. And then he taught me how to be an appraiser. And we're still friends and partners to this day. Great guy, Jerry Goldman in Ulster County. So he was willing to teach me. So you may find someone local who's willing to teach you how to be an appraiser. You get paid right away as an appraiser apprentice because you get paid per file that you type up, and it's pretty good money, I have to say. And while you're doing it, you learn how to price property, you learn what's for sale, you learn where the foreclosures are, you learn where the divorces are, you learn where all this stuff is. And as long as you're upfront, make sure that you follow all your ethics guidelines on getting leads, but you can get listings that way as well. You're not supposed to get listings from properties that you appraise, but you start to meet people who will start to refer you, like attorneys who you do work for, accountants. Those type of people will refer you work as a broker. So you will get listings too. A lot of appraisers are also brokers and they list houses. So that's a great way to start. Another great way to start, and you get paid per file, is to do title closings. You can, in many states, take a course as a title closer, go work as an apprentice under a title company, go call up a lawyer's office and ask them if you can do title closings for them. After you've learned how to do it, you'll get paid while you do it. A lot of times, just like appraising, title closing is a 1099 gig where you get paid per file that you do. So you're getting paid along the way. You're still an independent contractor, so you're still making your own hours. You still have time to do real estate, but now you're making money while you're building up your business. Another thing you can do is home inspections. If you're really handy and maybe you've been a carpenter or a plumber or some type of tradesman, and that this would be perfect for you, take the home inspector's class. And again, you get paid per file and you are paid like a contractor and you can make your own hours. So that's a really great gig to also be, to get into your brokerage business. Now, these are some of my more favorite ones that you can do and that will really build your business. You can do cleanouts on houses. I love this idea because pretty much all you need is a pickup truck, or you can rent a truck and some friends, and you can put an ad in Facebook Marketplace or on Craigslist and say, listen, do you have junk? We'll come take it away. We'll clean out your house for you. And you know who cleans out their house? People who are getting ready to sell it. People who need to downsize, people who passed away and the estate is cleaning out the house. Those houses are going to be sold. So doing cleanouts, you get paid to do the cleanout. And hey, while you're there, who are you going to use to sell this house? Oh, I'm a broker. I can get it sold for you and I'll do the clean out. And if I get it sold for you, maybe I'll take some money off from the clean out from the commission. Make them a deal. That is a really great way to, one, get paid while you're getting business and get business. Moving companies, same thing. Who moves? People who need to sell their home, people who passed away, people who are getting divorced. There's so many great things that you can do to get paid while you're building your real estate business. And you can be really creative about these things. You can go to work at an auction house. Now, I love this idea. Find an auctioneer online, call them up. I want to be an apprentice. I want to learn from you, and see if you can get in at an auction house. What happens at auction houses? People who have been collectors their whole life, hoarders really, and they need to sell their stuff. Where do they sell it? They sell it at the auction house. So those auction houses, again, you're going to meet a ton of people. You're going to go to their house. You're going to appraise their personal property. You're going to get it sold for them. And oh, by the way, we can sell your house too. We can auction your house. Another great way to get listings. Now, assisted living facilities. Do not turn your nose up at looking at the assisted living facility job. They take in the intake person at the assisted living facilities and the nursing homes and the 55 and over senior living places. They talk to people all day long who need to downsize. Almost all of those people have a house. Almost all of those people don't know where to start and want to find a place to live before they move out of their house. So where's the first stop they make? They, with their children, go to the assisted living facilities and they go to the senior living facilities and they visit them and they say, we're thinking about moving. It's time to downsize. We're getting on. Our house is too big. We can't take care of it anymore. Or maybe our health has failed and we need to come in here. Oh, okay, yes. Well, I'll get you a place. We have a nice apartment for you here. Oh, by the way, how are you going to get out of your home? How are you going to move out of your home? Oh, we're going to need help with that. We're going to want to move in here before we sell our house because we just want to make sure that we get into a place before we sell our house, because that happens a lot. And then ooh, they need help. They need a moving company. They need someone to help them downsize. And oh, by the way, they need somebody to sell their home. So you can go to work at those assisted living facilities, get paid, get all these leads while you're doing it, and clean up really clean up because you're going to get paid on both ends. Paralegals, tons of referrals at law firms because, you know, when somebody's getting divorced or estate, wills, trusts, all that stuff, they go to their attorney. So you may want to look into maybe working at a law firm or getting referrals from lawyers, making relationships. And the other thing is to become a process server or a mobile notary. Mobile notaries do closings. So you can do closings like a title closer, or if you're a process server, well, you're going to find out who's getting evicted, aren't you? Where there's going to be some empty units to either rent or sell. So all of those jobs are related to real estate. You can get paid while doing all of them, and you get leads. That's how you can build your business. That is a really great way to build your business. Step 3, if you have chosen the investment plan route and do not work a regular job. Now, this is somebody who has the money. I don't need to be making money while I'm doing it. I just want to spend money and get a return on my investment and get as much as possible. What can I do? I'm going to tell you a little story. Now, I've told this story before. You may have heard this story in some of my other videos, but I love telling this story because there is a guy who built a humongous business in my little town where I lived in upstate New York, very rural town. And he used open listings to do it. He was well known in the town as a local retailer. He owned a retail store, and everybody knew him because they would go into a store and buy stuff. But he wasn't known as the real estate broker or anything. Nobody really knew him as a real estate broker. He had his license for a while, but he really didn't do anything with it. He's just part-time. Then he decided, I'm going to sell my store and I'm going to get into real estate. But he had money because he sold his store. So he had money to make investments. And he really understood that if he made the right investment, he would make a ton in real estate. So here's how he did it. First thing he did was he created a logo. He made his own brokerage. And because he had already had a license for a few years, even though he didn't use it, he had a broker's license. He created his own logo. He created his own company, and he bought a bunch of signs. He went, went to a sign place and he bought like probably 100 signs. He knew a lot of people because he was a retailer in the town. So he would go to people who had vacant land, who they might want to sell, or people who might be doing subdivisions, anybody who wanted to sell their house but didn't want to sell their house. There's a lot of people who want to sell their house but don't want to sell their house. The for sale by owners, the make me move people. There's a lot of those people. You can find them on Zillow, the make me move people. And you can say to them, listen, I know maybe you're not ready to do an exclusive right to sell agreement, but what if we did an open? Let me put my sign on your lawn. I'll bring you the highest deal. You don't have to pay me unless I sell it, but if I do sell it, you'll pay me. And there's no commitment. So he started doing that. And within like a week or two, I'm driving around town and I'm like, oh my God, I saw him last week. He just told me he was going to do this. Now this week, there's signs everywhere. His new business, how could he have possibly gotten this many listings that fast? Well, that didn't happen. He got them all as open listings and he put his sign all around town. And the next thing you know, there's a big billboard as you're driving out of town with his name on it. And then I got the thing in the mail, the penny saver thing in the mail that comes. There's whole page ads in there with his logo on it. And after like 3 months of this, I'm like, wow, he's probably the biggest listing agent in town. Within 1 year, he was the biggest listing and selling agent in that town. He took that maybe $20,000 high side investment and turned it into hundreds of thousands of dollars because he was willing to invest that money. So you invest it in a website where you generate leads, you invest it in signs, you invest it in open listing advertisements, which you can do through My State MLS. And there's a video on that. We'll put up in the comments, we'll put below some of these videos that you can watch that I'm referring to. And you can do all of these things to really jumpstart your business. So 2 routes, you either have to work and you're going to get leads while you work, or you're going to be willing to invest money, just spend money on Facebook ads and social media ads and websites and billboards and signs. And you will become a big listing agent because it's all perception. People have to see your face. And if they see your face in their area, they'll think you're the go-to person. And you do that, right? Drive around now. Who's the go-to person? You all know it. You all drive around and go, oh my God, that person has all the listings. Their face is everywhere. Their name is on every sign. Be like them. How do you be like them? Put your name and face on every sign and go around and ask people if you can put your sign on their lawn to sell their house because they're a make me move person or they're a for sale by owner person, or actually try to get the listing. Most brokers will tell you when you first get out of school and you're ready to start this job and people don't know what to do and they go on the Facebook groups and the mastermind groups and they say, well, how do I get started? Everyone, your sphere of influence, door knock, your sphere of influence, door knock, door knock, door knock. Call. Who are you calling? Who is your sphere of influence? Who are you door knocking on without getting arrested? All of those things don't really help you, you know, but they can help you if you understand what you can do with those things and how powerful they can be. So definitely watch our open listings video to find out a really easy way to get open listings. I'll tell you right now, it's to go to new construction communities and ask them if you can list their open listings and their open rentals. That's what they do in New York City. It works really well. Most of the people who just get out of school in New York City are told, just be a rental agent. No, I don't want to be a rental agent. I don't want to sell a multi-million-dollar townhouse. You will, but be a rental agent first. Why? Because how do you think you get the leads? You get rentals, you list the rentals, you have a way to advertise, that gets you leads. Those leads, people who rent eventually buy, people who need to rent might have a house to sell. So they tell you to get started that way. It's a great way to get started. And we've done other videos on that. And we're going to put up links for those as well for you. Step 3, if you need to work while you're starting your business, we told you to choose a vertical position that helps you make the contacts and learn and get you leads and makes connections. So we already showed you that and all those things that you can do. Now, these positions, they're going to afford you some room to learn about real estate and earn while you're starting your career as an agent. So that's what you're going to want to do with them. Now, cannot stress this enough. Plan your day every single day. Otherwise, you will wander aimlessly through the day. So you need to plan your day, and we're going to give you step-by-step instructions on how to plan your day. You can, every day you can decide, well, let's say I want to go the open listing route. I want to get open listings. How do I plan my day? First day, make a list of all the new construction developments and all the rental complexes in your area and all the home builders in your area. And then go through Zillow and Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace and write down all the FSBOs for rent by owner and for sale by owner. Go through every expired listing, not new expireds, things that expired a year ago that have not yet sold. That's important because the stuff that just expired is probably under contract or they're going to be hard pressed to get those. Go to somebody who wanted to sell a house a year ago and find out if they still want to sell their house, but they were maybe the wrong time of the market for them, and maybe they want to list now. And then you can work on trying to get hard to get exclusive right to sell listings, which is the holy grail. Everybody wants them. You can do that when people are referred to you. Now, the next thing you need to do, so another day's worth of work or multiple days worth of work or weeks worth of work is to learn how to value properties. So you should take classes on how to value properties. You should watch our video on professional search, which we actually teach you how to value properties, how to use professional search. Works for any market in the country, at least for residential, land, and multi-unit. You can learn how to value those properties. And I actually teach you how to do it. I teach you how to make a CMA. I teach you how to make an appraisal in those videos. So again, go to Go Home TV and look for the video on ProSearch. And that should be several days of your getting started should be, I'm going to learn how to price property. I'm going to learn about every active property in the market. I'm going to learn about every pending property in the market. I'm going to learn about every sold property in the market. And you can do that with ProSearch, and we show you how in that video. That's very important. I mean, you shouldn't even be doing this job if you don't know how to value property. I got to say, that is the #1 skill that you need, because the houses, really, what good is it if you don't know what somebody should offer? How are you really representing your client if you don't know what a property is worth. That's the whole thing. That's what makes you the expert. You have the access to the data. So that's what you want to do, is make sure that you know how to appraise property. Now, the next thing you can do is you can join mastermind groups. And these are the groups that I talked about on Facebook that prompted me to want to do this webinar in the first place, because people seem lost. You know, they post up there, oh my God, I don't know what to do. I'm stuck. I haven't had a deal all year. I haven't had a deal this month. Deals are drying up. Join those mastermind groups, because people will help you. And granted, I know 90 out of 100 answers are going to be door knock, make phone calls, your sphere of influence. Yay. Okay, stop telling people that. That doesn't help anybody. Instead, what you need to do is real actionable items like I've just told you in this entire webinar. Okay, I've just given you a wealth of ways to get leads. And you can do that all through My State MLS, and you can rewatch these videos in this webinar as many times as you need to. The other way you can do it, and a lot of people do this, is they get a coach. There's a lot of coaches out there. I'm not here selling coaching, but there are a ton of coaches out there. And these guys, Tom Ferry's out there, and you've got Brian Buffini, and there's a whole bunch of hosts or coaches out there that will help you. There's this leader guy. If you want to spend money on coaching, I don't think it's a bad idea. That works for some people. You can use our Go Home TV channel. It's like a free coach. You can also, like I said, put comments here in the questions, and I will personally answer them for you. I will help you. The other resource we have here is we have Joe Mendez, who works at My State MLS. And a lot of you might know him. He does a lot of our demos, him and also David Mink. David Mink does a lot of our webinar and demos as well. And these are resources for you guys that you can ask them questions by sending an email to office@mystateMLS. We'll answer them. Myself, Joe, Dave, we will answer these questions to help you. Like, Dawn, I'm stuck. What do I do? Somebody called me up. They found my number. They called me up. They were like, Dawn, what do I do? I'm stuck. I got them started. I was like, try this. They tried it. It worked. So I'm telling you, this stuff can work for you, and we're here to help you guys. So what I want to do now, I want to ask you all to ask me your questions. If you're stuck, if you came here for a reason because you're stuck and you're new and you want to try, you want to see what you can do to get started, I want to hear what you have to say. So I'm going to be looking at your questions right now, and I want to know what questions you have that I didn't already answer that I can help you with. So in the questions box there, ask away. All right, here's oh wow, that is a huge list of questions. All right, and they're small, so I'm going to get close to the screen here. Is there a way to advertise that is more effective? I don't know more effective than what, but I'm assuming more effective than you're currently doing. So yeah, there is a way to advertise that's very effective. I mentioned these open listing ads. Now I do a whole video on them. So again, you're going to want to watch the open listing video, ad video, because I actually go through step by step. I'll give you a few steps right here, so you can get a clue on what we're talking about. But what you do is you go out and get open listings, or if you have existing exclusive right to sell listings or exclusive rental listings, you put those listings into My State MLS, okay? Then you click the Facebook share. This is always your best way. Okay, click you're looking at the listing, there's gonna be a little F there for Facebook. You're gonna click it, it's gonna share to your page. Now, after you're gonna make that a post on your page. Then you're gonna boost that post to generate leads. There's gonna be a choice. You're gonna click boost the post, and then it's gonna say, what do you want to achieve with this boosted post? You want to collect leads. Then you're going to select the collect leads. It's going to let you fill out a little form. Okay, you want to collect leads. What kind of leads do you want to collect? So you'll be able to ask questions like, are you looking to sell a house? Do you need to move? You know, ask questions that you would collect on a lead form. Then pay for that ad. You don't have to pay a lot too. I was paying like $10 a day on some of my ads. And I was targeting the areas where I worked, location-wise, and I was targeting people who needed to move. I was targeting people, I wanted to target a high-end audience. So I targeted people in finance, and people who are in the stock market, and people in the medical profession, and people in the legal profession. And I was targeting higher end buyers because I had a higher end house to sell. You've got to be careful on Facebook because you're not, because of fair housing, you have to follow their rules, and you have to say that you are doing housing, and you can't do anything discriminatory, and always be aware of the fair housing rules in advertising. So make sure you know those laws in your state, but also the nationwide laws on fair housing. But then you run that Facebook ad. I would run a Facebook ad for sometimes 3 days, sometimes 5 days. So if I ran a 5-day ad for $10 a day, it cost me $50. I would usually get from that 40 to 50 leads. I'm not gonna lie to you, 30 of those leads, maybe 35 of them sucked. It's true. All of your leads, you will be in great shape if 10% of the leads that you get that you paid for pan out. Because if you think about even one lead of all those leads you got, if you only spent $50 for one lead that leads to a sale that brings you in $5,000, hey, that's a great return. So that's a really great way to advertise. Now, someone's saying they feel that the advertising, the design has to be really, really good. That's what this question is asking here. No, forget it. You're not advertising an ad that has to be really good. You're advertising a property that people want to buy. And yeah, that property listing has to be really good. Okay, the pictures have to be beautiful, and they have to attract people, and they should be professional. So if you took the pictures, they should be professionally taken pictures. But what the beautiful thing is about open listings is if you go to new construction, like new construction condo buildings that aren't built yet, they'll give you professional renderings, professional photos, and they'll let you advertise those. So look at our open listings video for all the advice on that. And you should be advertising listings because honestly, that's what people care about. They're looking for a place to live. All right. People want to know, how do you open, once you find a prospect, how do you open a conversation that leads to sales? Now I lead everything to sales. You know, I start talking to people, I just direct about it. I don't even beat around the bush. Get a house to sell? Want a house to sell? Don't be afraid. What's the worst they could say? No. You'd be in the same boat that you were before you asked them, you know? So you don't have to, don't beat around the bush, just be direct, but be helpful. Every conversation that I have with people, I always go into that conversation with a true desire to help people. Like right now, I'm doing this to help you guys. I want you to be successful. I do. I'm successful. I want you to be successful. I have done this. I've been successful at it. And now I want to share that with you because it's better when you help people. It just feels good, and it's what you want to do. So you want to solve people's problems. Find out what their problem is. Why do they need to move? Why do they need a bigger house? You know, it's always a life issue. Are they getting a divorce? Are they pregnant and having more kids? You know, are they looking for a mother-daughter because they need to take care of their parents? Be there for them. Ask about their life. Find out what's going on with them and see how you can help them. And go into it from a place of nothing for yourself. I just want to help you. This isn't for me. Everything comes back to you. It doesn't matter. Put it out there. Put the energy out there that you want to help people, and it all comes back to you. Everything comes back to you. You reflect it back at yourself. So you just want to make sure you do that. When being a buyer's agent, what are the options that you can do for them? When you're a buyer's agent, you need to be representing a person's best interest. I think that every time you do any deal, I've always believed this. I don't understand dual agency or transaction broker or any of that stuff. I understand it. I don't agree that it's always the best course of action, because how can you be representing your client in the best way possible if you're also representing the person they're against? So me personally, I feel that if you're representing your client, you should be representing your client in their best interest, not yours, not the other guy, not the person whose house is listed for sale. If you're a buyer's agent, you need to represent that buyer. What does that mean? That means that you show them whatever house they want to see, whatever house is best for them. Don't worry about what you get out of it. Make sure that they get out of it what they need. You will be rewarded. Don't worry about that. It will come back to you. Put it out there to be your best person, to do the best job for somebody. Know how to price that property. Be an expert. Make sure that they don't overpay. If there's railroad tracks behind the house, make sure that they understand that that train's going to go by every hour or whatever and keep them awake, and that they have to be okay with that. Or look for a place that maybe doesn't have train tracks behind the house if they can't stand the noise. Make sure you point that out to them. Make sure that they understand that the location can never change. That's the most important thing, that they buy a house that has the right location. They have to really understand how important location is. It's more important than any other factor. So that's what you can do as a buyer's agent. You can send buyers listings. You can collaborate with them. There's plenty of CRMs that have collaboration tools in them. Through My State MLS, you can send them drip emails. Through all of the MLSs, you can send drip emails. Many people have a website that they built where right through their website, they drip email to their buyers all the latest listings. Hey, do you want to see this? Let's see how it is. So those are things that you can do for your buyers. Then you had the same question for sellers agents. What are the options for sellers? Make sure you get them the highest price that can get to the table. Not the highest price that can get to the table. Because somebody can make a big offer, but if they don't have proof of funds and they can't complete that deal, then that's not the best offer. So make sure that when you look at offers for a seller, you do the right thing by them. Somebody's asking, how do you contact downsizers if you're working in a sales department of an assisted living facility? They contact you, and many of those assisted living facilities have ad budgets and marketing budgets. But there's not that many assisted living facilities in many places. So the phone rings all the time. Hey, I'm looking for a place for my parent. And those places generate leads through their website. They have lead gen forms. So those people walk in the door. They come to you. That's what's so great about that assisted living gig. You know, I recently went through this with both my father's mother, or my husband's mother, and my own father. We were looking for downsizing places. I also know someone who worked at a 55 and over assisted living facility, or I think it was 65 and over assisted living facility. And people walked in all the time, and they hadn't sold their house yet. They hadn't got rid of all their junk yet. You get them at the very beginning when you do that gig. So you don't even really have to worry about how you're going to get clients. You're going to get clients if you work at an assisted living facility. They're coming to you. Somebody's asking, as a real estate investor for multifamily properties, Airbnb, subleasing, wholesaling, fix and flip, I actually started like after I became an appraiser. I then became a real estate investor. That's how I actually did it. So this question George is asking is, would it be a great way to do it as an appraiser? That is how I did it. Back in 2000, around 2000, 2001 timeframe, I became a real estate appraiser. Like I said, I told you I helped somebody fix their computer, and then he taught me how to be an appraiser. And right after that, after I learned how to value property, I wanted to start buying investment property. And it was perfect because I knew how much to pay. I knew where all the foreclosures were coming up. So it was great. Becoming an appraiser first and then becoming a real estate investor for multi-unit, you learn how to value property, you learn about cap rate, you learn about rate of return. Perfect gig. become an appraiser if you want to become a real estate investor. Yes, George, I definitely recommend it. Julie is asking what's the best way to approach a contractor building company about representing and selling them. Call them, knock on their door, go to their sales office, go to their office, send a lead form through their website. However you can contact them. I recommend showing up in person first. That's always the best way. After that, I recommend following up with an email and a phone call. So in person, follow-up email, follow-up phone call. If you don't have a listing, how can you advertise a listing? That's when I said to get an open listing. Open listings are easy to get. And I did a whole video on this. There's a big 1 hour long video on how to get open listings, super easy to get. You go over to new construction communities and you ask them if they're realtor friendly. If they're realtor friendly, you ask them if they allow you to advertise their properties as open listings. Many, many, many rental properties will allow it. I know in New York they allow it, in Florida they allow it. I'm sure many states they allow it. But new construction condo communities, new construction of high-rise buildings that aren't like where they didn't break ground yet, they almost always allow it, and they give you all the marketing material to boot because they need you to bring them people, because they need to sell out a certain amount to make their investors happy. And so they need everybody to work for them. So definitely look at my open listings video, because you will be able to get open listings if you don't have regular listings to start. So you're going to want to watch that video. All right, let's see what other questions I get here. That is all the questions I have so far. But what I'm going to tell you all is I'm not done. I will answer all your questions, especially if you want to put them down in the comments either here or if you're watching this replay, to put your questions down in the comments below on our YouTube channel. And also any videos that you rewatch on our Go Home TV YouTube channel. And please go there right now and subscribe so that you can get alerts on when this will be posted and also on how I've answered your questions. You can then go on that channel, pick one of our videos where we actually show you how to do whatever it is you're looking to do, like get an open listing or be an appraiser or, you know, represent a buyer, represent a seller. You can ask questions down below in those videos related to those topics, and I will answer them. If not me, then David Mink will answer them, or Joe Mendez, or somebody else on our expert team. And we are here for you. We will talk to you directly. Tom, oh, Karen is asking what is the YouTube channel? So we're going to put it up as well. It's Go Home TV. So just go into YouTube, type in Go Home TV, click subscribe, and you can see all of these videos. And also the replay of this webinar. Open listings, Tom is asking, open listings representing seller. How do you deal with a buyer who has a realtor? Well, you don't. That's the beauty of open listings. Okay. When you have an open listing, you are only representing the seller if you bring the buyer, or you're only representing the buyer and the seller is unrepresented. Because an open listing allows any realtor to sell that property, which is why you can't find open listings in a regular MLS search, and why most MLSs don't allow open listings. But open listings is such a great way to start your business. So my state MLS decided we're going to allow open listings, but we're still going to protect somebody who gets an open listing. So we do charge a little extra to opt in for open listing membership. And it is because of some of the rules we built into open listings. One, to both protect the person who's doing the open listing, but then also to help them advertise that listing without everybody else, without all the other agents, you know, trying to steal that listing from them. And then also with open listings, we don't want to get internet junk. Open listings can turn into internet junk. So we put extra protections in for them, but we also put extra protections in so that open listings don't turn into internet junk. We expire them every 30 days unless they've been updated, sometimes even sooner than that. And we don't allow, you know, we have a maximum amount of them that we allow so that we don't get any internet junk. Plus, we have a staff, a live staff that looks at them and makes sure that we're not getting internet junk. So that's important with open listings. And that's how we decided to tackle the open listings problem. A lot of MLSs are, oh, we're just going to allow them because, you know, they're too hard, they're too much work. All right, well, fine, they are a lot of work. But we felt that it was important, you know, for people to be able to start their business. So we made adjustments for that. Somebody's asking, are open listings treated the same for commercial properties as residential? Yes, commercial, residential, rental, open listings are all the same. An open listing only means that it's not an exclusive right to sell, that the seller has given you permission to advertise it, that the seller has said if you bring a buyer and that a deal is made, you get paid. But if somebody else brings a buyer, you don't get paid. If they sell it themselves, you don't get paid. If they decide one day, I don't want to sell it anymore, you don't get paid. But you need those open listings to jumpstart your business, and that's why they're important. When talking to a prospect after they say no, how do you lead them to a yes? Well, some people don't take no for an answer, but I don't believe that you want somebody to do something that they don't want to do. Instead, I ask them how I can help them. I never go into a conversation with, I'm going to talk this person into something. I'm not here to talk you guys into anything. I'm here to give you information. I'm here to help you make money. I'm here to help you learn how to jumpstart your business. The only thing that I want in return is for you to be successful. Go into every conversation with that attitude. You will be successful. I promise you that if you go into every conversation with no expectations that you're just going to be there to help that person, they will recognize that. They will appreciate it. And you will be successful. Just give and it will come back to you. That's all you have to worry about. And then someone's asking, I mean, will the buyer's agent commission be a deal breaker? Oh, Tom, the deal you make is the deal you make. So when you go to a seller and you say to them, I'd like to list your house as an open listing, I understand that if I bring you a buyer for $900,000, you'll pay me a 5% or whatever percent commission. I don't want to say what, you know, what the amount is, but you guys pick the amount. You always have the opportunity to split that with somebody else in your office or somebody else who might have a buyer. You might, you know, through the, you know, down on the down low, down in the QT, you might work with somebody and they might go, oh, I have a buyer for that. Oh, all right, well, I've already got the seller lined up. Let's do the deal together. I'll split the commission with you. You can always do that. Just split it with them. That's not a problem. For the most part, if it is an open listing though, you're gonna be getting the whole commission. And then with those open listings with the condos, the new condo construction ones that I'm talking about, they generally pay 5 and 6 and even I've seen as much as 7%. They pay to you because they're not co-broked. You get the whole thing, which is, people love that. So, Tom is asking about a percentage. I don't talk about percentages. So you charge what you charge. We're not allowed to talk about percentages here. That would be considered price fixing and we would never want to do that. But one more thing, guys. I told you all to join mastermind groups. This is just a word of advice. I see a lot of people put questions about commissions, co-brokes, and splits in the mastermind group. Please don't either respond to those or comment on them or put those in yourself. I'm just warning you all. There is an idea of price fixing when we talk about those things in a group. So you charge whatever you need to charge. You negotiate the best deal you have for yourself. So that's something I can't help you with, but your broker can help you with that because they're allowed to do that. Someone's asking, when listing a commercial listing for lease, does the lease amount have to be specific, or one can also say the amount to be determined, or everything's negotiable, right? So what you want to do is maybe starting at a starting bid. I like people see, I saw a comment in one of the mastermind groups that said, oh, my MLS doesn't let me do a range of 900 to 950,000. Well, why would you want to list it like that anyway? Now you're telling somebody that they're willing to take 900. Why would they offer you 950? Do a starting price. Do it like an auction if you want to do it that way. Offer a lowball price, but say it's starting at, but enter a reserve price. because or say the reserve is not met until you hit that reserve price. And that's the best way to go about it. And you can list auctions in my state MLS and New York State MLS. We do allow that with a starting bid and with a reserve price. So you're going to want to look at that as well. The mastermind groups in Facebook that I'm in Real Estate Mastermind, I'm in Lab Code Agents, I'm in a referral group, I'm in some real estate for women's group. Just type into groups in Facebook, real estate, whole list comes up. You'll find a ton. Just click to join them, ask for permission, then you'll have to follow the rules of the group and they'll let you in. You'll be able to see them in your feed all the time, every day. Does my state MLS show more than one open listing for the same property by more than one agent? Yeah, that's the idea. That's what open listings are, but they're ads and they don't show up on the member side. They only show up on the public side. So they're lead generation ads. But you won't see a ton of them next to each other because we don't put ads next to another ad. We spread them out amongst all the results. So that way you won't just see the same thing all the time, but we do display them as advertisements on the public side of our website. All right, wow, these are great questions. You guys are really engaged. I'm super excited that you all came to this webinar and that you were so engaged as you are, and these questions are fantastic. I will answer any questions that any of you have at any time. I look forward to talking to you again soon. We're going to do some more great webinars we've got coming up. So make sure you stay opted into our emails. Check Go Home TV on YouTube and check our homepage, our Go Home TV homepage, which will always have our announcements. And make sure you subscribe to our Facebook page or you follow our Facebook page, because right in your Facebook feed, you'll get announcements about these webinars as they come up. Somebody wants to know how they get an open listing membership. Once you're a member of New York State MLS or My State MLS, right inside, click listings, add new listing. And then the choice, I think the last choice on there is get open listings. Click that, there is an extra fee for it. And then you'll be able to get open listing advertisements added to your membership. And it is a membership. You still have to follow the rules of open listings. Because we don't want internet junk and we want to help you and we want you to be successful. And that means having integrity in your listings. So we do have certain rules around open listings, very important. All right, this was great. Thank you so much. I'm going to leave the questions open. We'll see if we can answer some for you if you have any more. But I appreciate everybody coming and thank you again. We'll see you all soon.